in my career, I've had the opportunity to review and test drive about 2,000 vehicles. And I suppose that's a testament to how good cars are today, or at least have been in the last quarter century. By my math, only about 1% have given me a few troubles, if you will. Now, if I'm bringing this up as I'm about to review this 2021 Lincoln Aviator, you can correctly assume that I've had issues with this Aviator. In fact, this morning, when I was about to set off and drive with the vehicle, I thought that was it. I was not going to be able to complete my 1 week test drive of the Aviator. In a nutshell, using the remote start, I preconditioned the cabin of the vehicle before I set off. And as I stepped in with my foot on the brake and starting it up, it would not start. It would not shift into reverse. In fact, when it did shift into reverse, it fell to neutral and the vehicle actually rolled forward slightly with my foot on the brake. Then it threw a service engine soon light and a few other issues. Thankfully, after a few cycles of turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on, everything came back to normal, or at least the Aviator's normal, because that's just the cherry on the icing of the cake of the experiences I'm having with this brand new Lincoln Aviator. I'll tell you a little bit more about those couple of little issues as we go on throughout this video. So we'll do the usual walk around and then we'll go for a test drive. Hopefully everything will go well. And so let's do it. First things first, let's just talk about pricing. There are two versions in Canada of the Aviator. There's the Reserve at $69,000, and then there is this model. This, my friends, is the plug-in hybrid iteration, the Grand Touring, which retails for $80,750. In the US, they have the same two versions, but they also have a standard, more basic model of the standard. What do you get for that price? Well, you get these gorgeous 21-inch wheels. In fact, some of the prettiest wheels I've ever seen on an SUV, or in a very long time anyway. You also get a 10.1-inch touchscreen. You get a full digital instrument panel, Sync 3 heated and cooled seats all around, Breville audio, a bunch of other features. My tester also includes the 301A package, which includes Lincoln Copilot, the convenience package, and a few other items for a grand total of $90,500. Yes, my friends, $90,000. Anyhow, part two, I suppose, styling. Seriously, it is a very, very attractive SUV. It's the one that kind of set the tone for Lincoln, Corsair, and Nautilus as we know them now. Every angle of this SUV is convincingly premium, very attractive. And painted white like this, it actually did turn heads. Something I did not expect the Aviator to do. If you can see that, yeah, it's kind of blue. That is an indication that this is in fact a Grand Touring plug-in hybrid version. If you're looking for the button, we'll just do the usual tour. It's closer to the L. The power hatch obviously is included. That is a fairly quick hatch, which reveals 1,183 liters of memory serves of boot space. It's all accounted for. There's this great storage bin under here, under the floor. The third row, which is fairly easily accessible thanks to a bunch of buttons and ways to slide the second row forward. You have these power buttons for the third row to make them move up and down. My tester has this superb combination brown and black interior from the get-go, from the start. Obviously this is based on the Ford Explorer. They share a bunch of stuff, a rear-wheel drive platform and all that, but the fit, finish, the materials, presentation, everything is far, far nicer. There's that beautiful grille for the audio system. Back here you do have the screen where you have the controls for the HVAC and the heated and cooled seats. This is another option, the center console in here, which has got the power operation buttons for the sunroof shade. There's a fair amount of room back here. So this is in fact a 6-seater version. So you can't sit anyone down there, obviously. So kids enjoy the view, and if you notice, there are sunshades in there. I don't know if you know this, but the door handles on this is kind of a button or a switch, so I can't really hear it there. So it's fully electronic, and this is how you open it up. And should that fail, you always have the backup handle down there, just in case you want to know that. Seat controls, I'm going to slide in, so the wind is picking up, and we're going to start it up. There we go. So there's your digital IP. Lovely. It's set, it's configurable. This is the comm screen, as you can very well see. There's the 10.1 inch touchscreen display with Sync 3. Now, one of the other issues that I've had with the Aviator all week is that exactly, it's been extremely slow to respond to inputs. Switching menu, going back and forth wherever it is you want to go, it has been very slow, a little bit annoying, sometimes actually requiring multiple touches of the same control or button in order to get to the menu where you want to go. Very, very annoying. But beyond that, the attention to detail, the fit and finish, the materials in here are absolutely beautiful. This center console kind of cascading setup here is beautiful. The wood is convincing. The controls are lovely to the touch. Everything is quite nice. Storage is lovely. There's your USB and USB-C. This is your drive mode selector. I suppose I could show that to you right here. There you go, deep conditions. There's all kinds of setups. Slippery normal, that's your default mode. Conserve is what I've been using the most, in fact, to get the most out of the battery's range. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a few moments. And then there's also Excite. Yes. So armrest storage, that's about it. Visibility, actually quite good because you are sitting very high in this SUV. And even though the base of the pillar is fairly large, everything is set up perfectly. The controls on the steering wheel are kind of nice too. They're not entirely intuitive because the little icons here change when you select a various button. I don't know if I'll be able to get it to work while I'm not, see, there you go. So if you're not keeping track, they will change and you might select the wrong menu. Otherwise, the interior is a very, very nice place to be. From here, we're gonna go straight to going into drive. I will put my belt on, I promise. And so here we go. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but one of the issues, the other issues that I've had with this Aviator this week is, well, let's see if it happens. I've gone back into park, so I'm gonna go into reverse, and I'm going to apply the throttle. Yeah, see, I did it there too. For whatever reason, selecting reverse, whenever I do that, there's an excruciatingly long throttle delay, which is immediately followed by an incredible thrust of power, as though it is sleeping on the job and then decides to kick in. That has been extremely annoying, especially with the snow and the ice, because we're having a thaw and we had snow. So on slippery surfaces, what that does is the rear wheels actually spin when you're just trying to back out at a normal, comfortable rate of speed, you know, whatever that might be. So what truly differentiates the Grand Touring from the Reserve and the Standard in the US is, as I mentioned, the fact that it's a plug-in hybrid. Now, this vehicle has a 13.6 kilowatt hour battery unit, shoved somewhere just under the right side passenger rear seat. And it, when fully charged, is supposed to deliver, doesn't matter, to deliver about 21 miles or 35 kilometers of fully electric range. Now, all week I've been plugging it in at every possible opportunity, and the maximum range that I've had indicated on my little gauge down here is 24 kilometers. In fact, that was on day 3, I think, and now I'm closing in on day 6, and that number is actually shrinking. However, that 24 kilometers I managed within a few hundred meters, if you will. I got my 24 kilometers of range. So I suppose, in order to answer the question whether or not the cold weather and winter driving conditions affect your range, then the answer is about 30%. What it does with the nano-electric motor, the twin turbocharged 3-liter V6 combined produce 494 horsepower and a whopping 630 pound-feet of torque. So this thing is a monster. But to be quite honest, I've not so far really enjoyed the power. And what is strange is that even when in normal drive mode, when you're experiencing fully electric driving or heavily assisted hybrid driving, when the 3-liter kicks in, it is so noisy that it is, in no uncertain terms, extremely unpleasant and completely ruins what is otherwise an extremely serene luxury SUV. See, but when it does kick in, it does have those moments where it really seriously kicks in. I get the sense as I drive this SUV around that there's a lack of final. The hybrid system is kind of half-baked. It won't give you all the EV range and privileges you suppose you should have. The assistance when it kicks from one to the other is strange. It's occasionally choppy. For example, when I'm reversing and it's in electric mode, throttle response is delayed. And the reality is, this SUV, compared to the Reserve without the hybrid powertrain, weighs 300 kilograms. Now, if we do the math quickly, that works out to just shy of 700 pounds. So when Ford says that this thing can average about 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers, with about 25 kilometers of real-world range, I don't think that that's actually really possible. I mean, right now, the numbers are ridiculous because I'm trying so hard to be full EV. So you're expecting me to tell you that it's below 10? Nuh-uh. It's not realistic, the number that's indicated there, but I suspect that I am averaging well over 40% more than the posted 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that the give or take $12,000 more for the plug-in hybrid version of this is a terrible, terrible idea. Terrible idea. If we ignore the fact that Lincoln's reliability reputation is taking a massive hit, in large part because of this thing, in the last 18 months or so. I mean, when this was released about 18 months ago, things were not going well at all. Transmission issues, instrument panel display issues, touchscreen display issues, leaking sunroofs, the list of issues is the word, I suppose, was humongous. And my experience right now is telling me that, well, the situation isn't that much better. So if you absolutely want to get a Lincoln Aviator, avoid spending $12,000 more for the plug-in hybrid Grand Touring version, because you'll get the same very comfortable, very quiet and serene ride quality. With the Grand Touring package, you do get standard adaptive suspension, which gives you an incredible level of comfort despite the 21-inch wheels. So that tells me that the chassis, the way it's tuned, and this rear-wheel drive platform shared again with the Explorer is really, really well put together. Sadly, it's all the other technologies and features and creature crappy things that are failing the Lincoln Aviator. So essentially, do you get an Aviator? Bottom line is I can't see it being a good idea. If you want something a little bit simpler, you have the Cadillac XT6. If you want to stick with the Americans, otherwise there are a bunch of options. I mean, I'm going to go right out and say it that although I don't believe that a Kia Telluride will be far more reliable in the long run, you get at least as much tech for your money, and between you and I, just as much brand recognition or nearly. And there are a bunch of other possible 3-row premium SUVs you can consider. But this one, I would strike it from the list.